Hello, Town fans. Happy New Year. Hope you enjoyed a wonderful festive break. As quiet as unfortunately it had to be. We are back. We are here to talk all things STFC on what has been quite a busy week for the club. And I'm pleased to say I am joined by Ben again. Good evening, sir.
Evening. How you doing, Stephen? All right?
Very well, thank you very much. And we also have Adam back with us. How are you, pal?
Not too bad, thank you. Hope you're both well.
At time of recording, we find ourselves in the very poor position of 23rd. 4 points from safety. No wins in 5, losing 4 of those. Not much to be chirpy about. However, the news just kept rolling in this week. We've had players coming back. We've had players leaving. We've had new players coming in. Plenty for us to digest, as well as potentially some other guests as their time schedules allow. So let's start with a couple of returns. And Ben, I'll come to you first. Palmer and Twine are back at the club. Are you pleased to see them back?
Yeah, I'm really pleased to see him coming back. Palmer is, for me, just as important as Scotty Twine, because Palmer comes in the back. It's a place in midfield. It means Conroy can drop finally in his preferred position defence, which we really need him for. And we've got options. With Lydon fit again, we've actually got 4 centre midfielders, where throughout the whole season, we've only had 2. One 20-year-old and another 33-year-old on his last legs and a bit injured. So now we've got a little bit of option in midfield and we can play people in their proper positions. And Twine has probably been arguably the best player in League Two. He creates goals, he scores absolute bangers. So he's going to be desperately needed. And I've seen today he's taken the number 10 shirt, which hopefully is a good sign of things to come, that he's going to be in a position that he's a key pivotal role. Hopefully he can pick up where he left off at Newport.
Absolutely. And Adam, I don't know if like me, you were following it when it was announced on the Newport club Twitter, and I was reading the messages. The fans were obviously very disappointed to see him recalled. They all wished him well. They all wished he would come back. It's all positive from that frame. He seems to be coming back potentially a more complete player than when he left.
Yeah, and I think, we all know how they feel, obviously, when Doyle went back in January last season. But I think he probably needed to go to somebody like Newport in the first place, who it's not the greatest of pitches, even though apparently it looks quite good this season. But and I think it's what he needed, and he did need a continuous run of form. I've personally always been quite a fan of Twine. I've always thought that he's never really looked bad every time he's played. He just needed a good run of games. And like Ben says, if he's been given the number 10 shirt, hopefully that's a bit of a promise that Sheridan's got him, or at least somebody's got him in mind to carry on that form. He's scoring goals, he's setting up goals. It doesn't matter what division you're in, the goal size doesn't change. And if he's scoring from 25 yards out, we could do with that every now and then, I think.
No, absolutely. And on the subject, Adam, I'll stay with you on the subject of recalls. Kovar's gone back. It's been unfortunate for him. I think he came with a reputation that he's going to be a good goalkeeper. Unfortunately, it's not quite happened. And more importantly, from our perspective, and more worryingly, potentially, is the news that Jordan Stevens has also been recalled as well. He will be a much bigger loss.
Yeah, I think Kovar we all expected, or Kovac, I think we all expected would go back. I think even if you look at his Twitter when he left, or Twitter or Instagram, one of the two, he knew he didn't kick off the way he wanted to. And as we said in the last one, the last forum that we did, we're just not in the position where we can have a keeper that's not got the experience, and that's pretty much what it's down to. I still have questions how he's a Man United academy keeper, in my opinion. But then I'm not a UEFA Pro licensed coach to judge. But Jordan Stevens going back, I'm torn with him, because I don't think we saw enough of him. If I'm brutally honest, there's rumours saying that he's going to go to Salford. It'd be interesting to see if he does go there, how he gets on there. But yeah, I don't think we really saw enough of him to judge whether he would be a miss or not. I think, as we alluded to slightly earlier, that recalls for us have been stronger in terms of Matty Palmer. It's the one reason that I didn't say in our last transfer wish that we wanted a centre midfielder, because I thought when Jordan Lydon's back, when Matty Palmer gets recalled, we'll end up trying to sign a centre midfielder, and we've got to tell that centre midfielder they might not even be first, second, third or fourth choice. So I think that was the reason I didn't have that on my wish list. But I think it's the right decisions, and I have to give some kudos to Sheridan for realising that.
Ben, it's an interesting point Adam made about Stevens and not potentially seeing enough of him. Do you consider it a loss to the first team squad, or are you in the same sort of boat where you're kind of on the fence with it?
Well, he'd not started for quite a long while. And I think the game before MK Dons, he didn't even feature in the squad at all. I know he suffered a bit of illness and injury, and I believe Sheridan said in his most recent interview, when he said that Stevens had left, that he didn't realise how lucky he was playing for a club like Leeds and being a footballer. I know Sheridan's got quite strong links with Leeds United. So I think maybe been like an attitude issue, or he just wasn't happy where he was. Incidentally, he signed actually for Bradford earlier today. So he's nearer home. So he's probably going to finish off the loan there. And I wish him all the best. He's clearly a talented player. He started off pretty well, but he's just faded. And in the end, I don't think anyone's that bothered he's gone. I think we've got a number of players who can play in that position. And I've got no malice against him. All the best to him. But he wasn't a critical cog in the wheel.
Two other players who we should wish our best to. It was announced that Joe Fryer and Toby Holland had both left now at the end of their contracts. Again, they're not pivotal cogs in the first team, but two players again we should wish the best to in their future careers.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of players in, it's nice to be able to sit here on the 8th of January and think we're already doing a bit of business instead of waiting till the very, very end to see what players we can get as cheap as possible. I know we're not going out splashing loads of money, but it's still nice to be doing the business early. So we signed Freeman, we've got Travers and Don Thompson as well coming on loan. Ben, I'll come to you first. Which of those three are you most excited to see? Who do you think will have the biggest impact?
For me, well, the player the biggest credit to obviously is Freeman. I was just, because it came from nowhere. I was not for six when we signed him. Because I've heard of him. He's got a good reputation. He's one of these players that's climbed up through the leagues with Sheffield United, and he's played Premier League football, and he's only 28. I didn't even know he was a free agent, to be quite honest. And I'm surprised no one snapped him up already. I think that's a massive coup for the side. I think Travers is a fantastic signing, by the way. A little bit of Google search shows how good he is. But Freeman, we needed a lot of business very quickly. A week ago, I was starting to accept our fate as we are losing touch. We're already 4 points behind safety. We're going to be more by the time we play Ipswich. It's a long haul back, so we need a big overhaul. We need some players, but it's giving you a bit of hope, and we'll see what they can do. So it's so far good business. I'm shocked as well because I didn't think we'd be picking up players like that. I thought we'd be having more sort of academy players or League Two or older League One players type in category, sort of cheap and cheerful, or throw your hat at a youth loan just to see if he comes off. I didn't think we'd be going for pedigree. It's a nice surprise. It means they're actually trying to stay up, and that's good. That's good. We're trying.
No, I completely echo what you've said there. And Adam, similarly to you, when you look at those three that we have brought in, and we've got the two recalls, which I know they're not technically, but when they're back in the squad, it's like having 2 new players there. That's 5 new players available for selection. Does it give you that bit of confidence that, like Ben says, we're making the efforts to stay up? And what areas do you still think we will be looking to do business in over the next couple of weeks?
Well, I think I'm kind of glad that we've, I guess, obviously I wish them well, but with Kovac and Fryer going, it does probably free up the wage bill for us to bring in somebody like Travers, who will be pinnacle, I think. I don't think we need to rush with a second keeper. I know Travers is on a short-term deal, which means he could probably be recalled on a Friday night. But realistically, there's quite a lot of praise going around about Archie Matthews at the moment. So if Travers does have to get called back and we have to use him for one game, so be it. We're not the only team in the league where we have a youngster on the bench. In fact, a lot of youngsters are wearing the number 1 jersey nowadays. I think, interestingly, you're right. Palmer's like a new player because I think we saw him twice last season. And obviously, even Lydon's come out this week and said so himself, that with him coming back from injury, he feels like a new player. And if Twine has improved to the level that we needed him to, which, let's be realistic, there's only 2 spaces that separate us and Newport at the moment. So it's, he's going to be, he should be good enough, a good enough level now. I still think I would like us to improve our core middle. So I think we still need to bring in a striker and another centre back. I'm feeling very hopeful for Conroy now. He's going to move back to the back again. But I just feel that we haven't really got somebody who's going to be a solid partner. I think Baldry might be a little bit beyond it now. I think he will struggle. And Conroy's just got to keep himself getting fit again. So I think a centre-back and a striker must be our priorities now. And like you say, we've made 3 signings this week. We're an attractive club. We haven't lost in 2021. And it's like Sheridan said, one thing I did really, I'm still not a big fan of his. I will put that on the record. But one thing that Sheridan did say was that he wants to bring in loan players that are going to make the difference. They're going to be players that aren't going to sit on the bench or get injured like Jordan Stevens was. He wants, if he's going to get loans in, they're going to be, first 11, which I think should be the purpose of a loan player. There's no point taking the next star from under 23s if you're just going to sit him on the bench. Who was that guy we had last season, Admiral Musqui? He's just signed for somebody in the Championship now, I think.
He's come to Wickham. Yeah,
exactly. And it just, I almost think that he probably didn't get a real chance. He was probably wasted. He was a bit of a panic signing. But we just need a striker. Pittman's too unreliable at the moment. I think he could come good when he comes fit. It is my nervousness with Freeman as well, given the fact that I think he's only played 2 games this year or something bizarre. But like Ben said, his history is he's got a very good career. He's only 28, so hopefully it won't take too long for his fitness to come back up.
Picking up on something that Adam said there, Ben, when we last spoke, very end of November time, there was a fair amount of, I don't know if negativity is the right word, but it wasn't a positive outlook despite some of the results that we had regarding Sheridan. When you see the sorts of players he's going for, does it change your opinion of him in any way, even slightly more positive?
At the moment, no. Just because it's probably not him that signed the players up, because we have our own recruitment team, haven't we? We've got what's his name? He used to be the old manager for a while. What a Lee Powers, mate. He does. He's the head of the recruitment. He brings the players in. I think Sheridan's consulted, but I think these players would have come in anyway, whether Sheridan was there or not. As the positivity said, if you'd done this podcast a week ago, or done this show a week ago, it really would have been quite down in the dumps. I think the signings, you can tell the social media, everyone's just taken a little bit of nice surprise that we're actually going to give it a bit of a go, and we've got some players in early, and there's potentially more coming in the next week or 2 as well. So there's a little bit of, all right, well, let's give it a big go, and maybe we can pull off the great escape. But Sheridan, his football, it's not been the best. It's not played to what I think our strengths were. There's been times that first half against MK Dons, if you watch it, for me, it was depressing. It was almost offensive watching that first half. It was terrible, and I think that was rock bottom. I think just being played off the park like a training game by a team only a few points ahead of us. Ben Glavin was popping it about like it was 2015. So the jury's out in Sheridan. If you can put it around with better players and brilliant, absolutely brilliant, go behind him. But I think if results don't turn for him very quickly, and I'm talking 2-3 weeks, if we're not caught up with everyone else by the end of the month, I think it's time to go for him personally, because that would be we will really be in trouble.
But, just to follow up on something you said there, whenever you have a change of manager, you've generally got, unless your football club has a clear identity, you've generally got a clash of styles. And I completely agree and appreciate with what you said about when Sheridan came in, we've not been playing football that perhaps suits the players that we have. But when you see some of the players again that he's bringing in, will they maybe adopt to his style better, and therefore results might start to come?
Well, possibly. He likes wing backs, and he's brought 2 in. So, as I say, if results do pick up, but they need to pick up quickly, because his record, I think it's 2 wins and a draw and about 9 or 10 defeats. So it's rubbish. Those 2 victories were in derbies. Even the 2 victories were pretty average performances. I can't think of a game where for 90 minutes we've outplayed someone. I think that's where I think he gets a lot of criticism and negativity. And it's a very valid point, it's not his team, it's Richie Wellinside, and maybe if his players, his teams play better, then fantastic. I'm more than happy to eat my words. But at the moment, I'm quite critical of him. But I hope we get better.
Before we move on to look at the upcoming game in front of the Sky cameras for the millions and millions of viewers who have nowhere else to go on a Saturday, so they're going to be watching Swindon Town, I just wanted to ask, do either of you genuinely believe one way or the other at this point we are going down, or we will definitely survive, or are you both on the fence?
I'm confident we'll survive. I'm still confident we'll survive. I have been all along. I think it's a big month. I think is the end. I could be saying different when we do our next one in February, but the thing is we're not playing well. But if you look at we've lost a lot of games, but we're still scoring. So something is happening somewhere. There's a lot to sort out. And as I said, this transfer window is very important. Probably the most important since, definitely in my memory. So really, if we don't bring in the right players, the 3 we bought in won't be enough. I think, as Ben alluded to earlier, that really it might not be Sheridan bringing in the players, but he will definitely be telling the recruitment team what he needs. And I think that's where his experience might help him. But I'm going to remain optimistic because we've had a good week. Whether I'm optimistic at 7:30 tomorrow when we've done our national embarrassment on television, but it'd be one of those, wouldn't it? I mean, we could go out and beat Ipswich 4-0 tomorrow, and it'll be the way Swindon do things. It will, I think the problem is leading into this, especially leading into the MK Dons game, where I agree with Ben, we were atrocious. I think we probably praised too much of the Charlton game. I think in the 2-2 draw was a good, at the end of the day, I know we haven't got any fans, but we were at home and we're on our own pitch. which can I say? I don't know if anybody else has noticed. I don't think the pitch looks very good this year.
No,
But yeah, I just think that we just need get a couple of wins, and it will turn things around. But the Swindon way of doing things is we'll beat the likes of Ipswich, we'll beat Sunderland, we'll beat those teams, and then we'll lose to teams down with us, which makes it the Swindon way of doing things.
Ben?
As in terms of tomorrow?
No, in terms of are you confident either way of saying right now we will stay up or we will go down?
Less confident as Adam, because a week ago I had in my mind that we were probably going to go down. I'm more positive now. I'm a lot more positive now. I actually do see a way out. We have got some good players. I think there's stiff competition at the bottom. I had a look at the other teams who are struggling around us, and Shrewsbury, who I had as an awful team, made a good manager appointment, and I suspect will stay up now. Oxford have sorted their game out, and they're safe. They're mid-table. They may make a late run for the playoffs, unfortunately. So, who else? Northampton, Rochdale. I think Wigan are going to go through financial issues and stuff. I think they're going to go down. I think Burton are dead. So I think the only other two teams that are going to be actually worse than us are them two. So we need to start winning games. I'm more hopeful now. I think I'll be more confident with another 2 or 3 more signings. It's in a big month. I think it's important we get something tomorrow as well, at least a draw, just so we keep in touch, just so the mountain's not too big to climb, because as I say, there's some tough fixtures coming up in January. And we need to at least stay in touch. So we need, about 4 or 5 points from this month.
Let's look ahead to the game then. And I'm going to do my bit to become the most hated person, in amongst the Swindon Town fans, so that you two can be the really positive guys. I'll throw some stats at you, which are all really negative ahead of the game, so that you two can turn around and say, and it's for just that reason that we're going to win. So the last time we played them, January 2000, lost 3-0. Our head-to-head record, thank you to the wonderful website that is swindontownfc.co.uk, getting this information. It's helped me with blogs and all sorts over the years. It's a fantastic resource for Swindon fans. But head-to-head record, played 49, won 14, drawn 8, lost 27. And our recent track record, evidently we haven't played them for a long time. But in terms of our most recent fixtures, we've lost the last 8 and have not won in 13. So, who wants to jump on all that negativity and say, we're going to win? Brilliant. Someone give me something that makes me think that I'm not going to be hiding behind my sofa tomorrow.
Brett Pittman's a popular striker at Ipswich. He was a very good striker there, and I like him a lot. So he's bound to score against him. There you go. If it was the other way round, and it was say like Charlie Austin or someone playing for Ipswich, you'd go, oh yeah, Austin score against him. So I can't see why it can't be the other way round. And Super Brett Pittman gets on the other end. And also we've got a new signing balance, so there's going to be more energy in the team. There's going to be a bit more zip, because the new signings are there and they're sort of rejuvenated a little bit. Whilst Ipswich, who also not played in a little while, are probably going to be hopefully just a bit off the mark and a bit slow, and probably think, wow, this lot are easy, aren't they? Looking at our form, and hopefully they don't take us, I hope they have an off day. They don't take us too seriously. That's what I hope. Still think we might lose.
You say about the new signings. Realistically, Palmer and Twine have been playing, so there's every chance they'll be in the squad. But Freeman, if I'm correct, hasn't even been contracted to a club since September. Can you realistically see him playing? Thompson maybe as you know, a younger player, he'll be just buzzing that, you know, he's at a new club and he wants to make an impression. Travers probably, given the goalkeeper situation. Can you see them all getting in the side straight away?
I can see Freeman. Do you know, I can see Freeman coming off the bench because he's fit. He's just not match fit. So I would imagine he's been keeping himself pretty trim, you know, by himself training. He may have been in training with Sheffield United even whilst he wasn't being paid by them. So because he's seen as a legend there. So I can see him being fit, just not match fit. The other guys would be fine. Palm would be fine. Twine would be fine. So I can see at least 4 of the 5 starting.
Adam, be positive for me. We're going to win, aren't we? And you're going to tell us why.
I think we're going to win. Only just because it's a Swindon thing to do. But equally, Ipswich, I mean, they've only won, I've got their record up here, they've only won 2 of the last 6 in terms of games this season. And, you know, those 2 wins were a narrow 2-1 win against Burton, who arguably are probably, in my opinion, the worst team in the league. And, you know, another narrow win against Plymouth. And, you know, they've drawn against Oxford, they lost against Portsmouth. So Ipswich, you know, they're on a bit of a spiral themselves. I've heard, you know, my friend's a Brentford fan. I say my friend, one of the coaching staff I work with, she's a Brentford fan. And she talks a lot about Thompson and says he's very good. The guy they got there at the moment, who plays first team, is outstanding. I think I can't remember his name now though. The really quick fullback. So I think that, you know, Thompson will definitely be in the start, and I think that will be a good bit of energy that we need on that left hand side or right hand side, depending on how he wants to play him. I've got no doubt that Travers will start. I think, and that will be the big thing that we need. I had to Google Travers, I have to admit, and then I remembered. Then I saw the game. I think it was his debut. He played against Spurs, and Bournemouth won 1-0, and he had like the game of his life. Now everybody has a game of their life on their debut, but I think that will give us a little bit of positivity in terms of going into it. And players do react when things like this week happen. They do see that there's, you know, we're trying to make movement. They're not stupid. They know we're in a relegation fight at the moment. You know, and with Lydon coming back, Palmer, Twine, you know, that you could argue that could be our midfield 3. You know, if Sheridan really wanted to, those 3 are the informed players. Although it breaks my heart to think of Grant getting dropped. But I think there will be an air of positivity. I just hope that Sheridan doesn't do all the team talks. Because he doesn't strike me as somebody who's going to rally him in front of Sky Sports cameras. But I could be completely wrong.
For what it's worth, you were saying about the recommendations that you'd been given about Thompson. I'm pretty sure the recording would have picked up various vibrations going on my phone while this has been happening. One of those was a message from a chap named Adam, who is someone who's featured in a few of my blogs before. He's a Sheffield United fan, and he's actually just texted me while we were recording this saying Freeman is a very good signing for you. So, you know, the more positives you hear, the better. Before we wrap up then, as we do most times with a game the day after we record, Ben, I'll come to you first. A score prediction, please.
I'm going for 1-1 or a harsh 2-1 defeat. I think we'll play very well. We'll have our moments. I think there's a lot of changes in the side. Will be a lot of changes in the side. They might need a game or 2 to settle in. I think we'll make a good account of ourselves. And I think we'll play well. I think we'll draw 1-1, cautious 1-1. We'll do. I'll be quite happy with that.
And Adam?
I'm going to go 1-0. I've just got a feeling we're going to keep a clean sheet tomorrow, especially if the new keeper. I think, as I said, it's a Swindon thing to do. It's what we'll do. I think we're going to nick a goal. I say nick a goal. We're going to score in the 65th minute, and then we're all going to be pulling our hair out for the remainder of the game whilst we stick 10 men behind the ball.
For my prediction, and there's no reason for it other than blind faith and optimism. I was sat here the other night, and the playoff game with Sheffield United was on the telly, the absolute goal fest, and it really made me think. Do you know what? I'd love to see Swindon put the ball in the net a few times. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet, sadly, but I am going to go for a 3-1 win. Just because, and as you guys know, thank you very much for the messages. It was my birthday yesterday, so it would be a lovely birthday treat if Swindon were to win instead of making me sit like this for 90 minutes. Listen, lads, thank you very much for joining me again. It's always a pleasure to have you on. See you again next month, no doubt. And enjoy the game tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.